All right, well, let's start with what else? The trade war between the U.S. and China, because today at West Coast ports, the first cargo ships with goods subject to the 145% tariffs are arriving on our shores, destined for Amazon, Home Depot, Tractor Supply, and other big retailers. This is all as Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will meet with his Chinese counterpart in Switzerland. This morning, President Trump saying on Truth Social, 80% tariffs on China seems right, up to Scott B. So what are the Chinese saying ahead of these big talks in Switzerland? Let's bring in Eunice Yoon. She's joining us live from Beijing with the latest on that side of the Pacific. Eunice.
Thanks, John. Well, China's signaling, which is aimed at the Chinese public, is to present China as tough. So the Commerce Ministry has said that the U.S. should, quote, meet China halfway, treat China as an equal in discussions, and then also, essentially, if you coerce us, according to the Commerce Ministry, we will walk, or what they say, refuse. So on top of that, the Chinese are threatening that they have other ways to hit the U.S. back. The Commerce Ministry today announced a crackdown on rare earth smuggling and saying that this is partly to blame on foreign entities. And then the social media account that's linked to CCTV, which is very closely watched for its commentary on U.S.-China trade issues, has been mocking at U.S. rare earths, quote, shortages, they say. So China watchers, as well as many others here, especially in the manufacturing industry, have very little expectation that there's going to be anything really dramatic out of these discussions. Even Scott B. has said before and hinted that this is really an initial stage and that these longer, more drawn-out discussions would come down the road.
Well, in Eunice, at the same time, there's been more questions about how Chinese companies are trying to get around U.S. tariffs because they still want to export, and a lot of U.S. consumers still want to import, and we're hearing more and more about exemptions and things like that.
Yeah, there are exemptions, but there are also some other dubious ways, I would say, that some companies are trying to get their stuff over to the United States. On social media, we've seen a surge of ads that are marketing services to get around the tariffs. So one of them is called label washing. So this is when the agent would take your product to a third country like Malaysia and then literally change the label from the country of origin and then pass it on to the United States. Another one is product mixing. So they're saying that they could mix high-value goods with your low-value goods, but then just declare the low-value goods. And then the last one I thought was pretty interesting, too, and is an old one. It's called first sale. And that's because a lot of times the tariff is based on the price of the good when it comes out of the factory. So the idea is to set the value, and sometimes ridiculously low, but then make up that cost along the way to the U.S. And a lot of these agents have said, and even told us, that the chances, they say, are really low of getting caught at U.S. Customs.
All right. Eunice Yoon with the most out of the kind of discussion now from the Beijing side of things. Thank you very much for that.